Howdy peeps, welcome back to another installation of Weak Auras from Magog. Today is going to be Holy Paladin. I'm trying to help a member of my raid team, and this is what I was coming up with. So, let me first start off that I know not everyone has used Weak Auras before, so if you haven't, I've set this video up to kind of help you along in getting them set up. So Weak Auras is an add-on, obviously. You download it like any other add-on, you put it in your add-ons folder. When you get in game, you type /WA to open them up, and yours would be blank. You wouldn't have all of these because these are all my other tunes and stuff. As you can see, I have none loaded here for Holy Paladin. So we have to scroll down here. Right now we're on this new tab. We scroll down here to import, and it has this blank box here. So you go to the paste bin I've got below, you select the Weak Auras, you go to the whole raw data, you select it all, you click back here, and you paste. And it looks like a whole bunch of gibberish, and down here, this one's for Infusion of Light, so you import it. And there it is. So we do that for all of the other ones. So we got Infusion of Light. We've got, come on here. We've got Light's Hammer. We've got select copy, import. We've got Holy Prism. We've got Holy Shock. We've got Light of Dawn. And we've got Rule of Law. Now, if you've been paying attention, some of these are talents. So let's turn them all on. So some of these are talents. So like Holy Prism here is a talent. So I have set its load conditions to only be if you select that talent. So if you don't have that talent, this won't show up. And if you don't have this talent, this won't show up. And you don't have this talent, this won't show up. So they're not going to be cluttering up your screen with stuff you don't even have. On some of my healers, I don't have it set up for Holy right now. I have a mana bar. Let me pull those back up. Down here, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's just kind of like, this isn't a tune I'm actively playing right now, so I don't have that set up. If you need that, it can be made. It's pretty simple. Somewhere in here, I'm sure. Let's go down to M, see what shows up. Mana. So we just do something like that. This was for Mage Arcane, so we could just copy it. We'll duplicate it, call it Mana Holy Paladin, change this from Mage to Paladin, and there we go. So that will show you your mana there. And all of these things, I always set these up so they only show in combat, so they don't show up if you're in a vehicle, and then like I said, different talents and specs, so they only show up when they're needed. Alright, so let's look at how some of this works. Let's look at talents first. So, let me rephrase. I'm not currently actively playing a Holy Paladin. I have not mained a Holy Paladin, I don't think ever. I have not had a Holy Paladin as my primary, secondary, tertiary, quadriary, quintiary, sextiary alt at any time. But I have played basically every spec at some point, at least for challenge modes. Mage Tower challenge modes last expansion. I got all of the weapons. So take these with a grain of salt. First tier here, this is basically like if you want to stay in melee range in Crusader Strike, you got to keep it up. This one is a nice this apparently is the most mana efficient and best, but it's kind of like a babysitting thing. I did make a Weak Aura for this, so if you use that, great. This I just think is cool, like the Light's Hammer. It's like, well, yeah, so yeah, I like that one, so that's why I take that one. And now it's gonna put me in combat with all that stuff. All right. Why I'm still in combat. Come on, hammer. There we go. Okay. But whatever you want. Like I say, I don't think. From what I was doing some quick research, I don't think there's a wrong answer for basically anything here. So it's just kind of play style. For this, apparently this again is the correct answer, but it's again like babysitting. So it increases the range of your heals. So your heals already have a 40-yard range, and I think it goes out to like 50, which is kind of like, why would you ever be at like super duper max range? But then it also increases the reach of your mastery, which I think is the important part. Holy Paladin mastery is like the closer you are to them, the more healing you do, which they kind of intend you to be a melee healer, like especially if you take Crusader's Might, and I mean Judge has a 30-yard range for Holy. I think it's less for the other specs. I could be wrong, but mastery I think is your weakest stat anyways, and so like I said, the guide I read trying to bone up for this said this, but I feel like Holy has like the pretty terrible movement speed, so I would personally prefer to take Cavalier just to get 2 charges on that. I guess I get spoiled playing a monk as my main with like pretty much the best movement speed, or like at least tied for best. It's like monk, warrior, demon hunter, probably like top 3. 45 is your CC tier, so just pick your poison however you want it. This is if you want that. This is an actual CC. This is for stun. This is for an AoE blind. This tier is what your aura pulses as. So Devo is just a DR against everyone around you, diminishing the least amount of people you have around you. This is, I think, the you take some damage, right? Yeah. So this is like, I'm taking damage for you, and this is like a passive heal for everyone around you. I would say probably Devo or Aura are better than Sacrifice, just because this is gonna stop working if you're ever below 75, whereas these two will always work no matter what. Let's see, 75 here. Like I said, you got your Holy Laser, which again I think is always cool looking. This is one of my alts. He's just there on my other account, just sitting here, so I can have someone in my group for just showing heal stuff. Like I said, I like Holy Laser. It looks cool. Again, with Light's Hammer, these are just cooldowns you have to manage. That's why I put the weak ores up for them, so you can see when they're up, because these things are always going to be best used on cooldown. So Light's Hammer and Holy Laser. This one is, like I said, if you want to be more of an active melee healer. Like this, Holy Paladin and Mistweaver, they kind of shoehorn into the melee healer. Like, you do a little bit of damage, not nearly as much as Disc. But this one would be like, if you have a really big melee group, this might be a lot better. But you just have to make sure you're judging on cooldown. So that's over here, that's 11 seconds with haste. It's probably 12 base. So there it is. So that's not bad. And then this one makes, I think this one just gives you another cooldown to use. So it's kind of like this is your bread and butter, your quick, easy one. This is your, like, if I want to keep judging all the time. And this is if you want another cooldown. These things, that's just a big old cooldown. This is like you get a little bit of a cooldown on chance of Light of Dawn. This is just, it lasts longer. Again, I don't think there are any wrong answers for this tier. And this one is kind of weird. Like, Beacon of Faith gives you a second beacon, which is nice. Beacon of Virtue makes your beacon kind of like a little AoE heal, and then Divine Purpose is just your 2 main abilities can get free ones. I have always loved Divine Purpose. I remember having a prop pally that I played decently enough in MOP with Divine Purpose, and I would just get like this Shield of the Righteous, Shield of the Righteous, Shield of the Righteous, Shield of the Righteous, and it felt so good. So that's why I like this, just for partially nostalgia, partially good feelings about it, having used it in the past and it being very fun. So let's get to the abilities. So, as I said, you want... Let me get in combat here just so the weak cores show up. Alright, so Holy Shock and Light of Dawn are your big ones. Like, these you should be using... Holy Shock definitely on cooldown. Light of Dawn almost on cooldown. You just want to make sure you're always hitting people with it. Like, you have to aim it, like... So you always want to make sure you're going to hit at least 3 people with it or it's wasted. If you can't hit 3 people with it, just don't use it. But Holy Shock, definitely every cooldown. That is your best, hardest hitting instant cast. It's like everything you want on it. So as you see, I procced Infusion of Light here with that. Infusion of Light is either makes Holy Light faster or Flash of Light better. So you almost always want to be using that on Flash of Light. Because it doesn't matter if Holy Light is faster. At that point, Flash of Light and Holy Light are going to be pretty much the same cast speed, but Flash of Light's going to be healing for way more, because it's going to be 40% more. So you want... Okay, so here it is again, so we want to use Flash of Light on it. Alright, I feel like you never ever want to hard cast Holy Light, and you only want to hard cast Flash of Lights on those Infusion of Light procs. Because you got so many instants that it feels like it's almost not worth it. I could not figure out how to make a weak ore that would make sure that you have beacon on somebody. Like, everything I was trying, it wasn't working, so you always just gotta make sure you've got a beacon up somewhere at the start of the fight. Usually probably on one of the tanks, whichever one you think is taking the most damage. If you've got the 2 beacon talent, obviously you would want to put them on both tanks, or if you don't think one of the tanks needs it, or if somebody is like soaking something all fight, that would obviously be the better person to do. Then you've got your hammer, your holy laser, your light of dawn, your holy shock. Oops, see that proc that divine purpose, so we got 2 of them there. See how it came back immediately. And then I think your other, I know I keep saying this word too much, bread and butter, is Light of the Martyr. So it's instant cast, and it's like I cut myself to heal somebody else. You can't use it on yourself, obviously, because you can't cut yourself to heal yourself. But it is by far, it's like instant cast. It's a good amount of heals. Yes, you cut yourself a bit, but let's say we just even put our beacon on ourselves. So we would get some of those heals back, I think. Maybe. I can't check the combat log here. Maybe we don't. Ignore me about that. Unless we look up and research a bit more. But you can always use... My weak cores are off. You can always use Holy Shock to heal yourself if you need to. So if I sit here and I spam Light of the Martyr on Barafu there, and then I Holy Shock, and then I Light of Dawn... Man, that's almost all of it back. Plus, I'm always going to be getting some like incidental heals from my other healers, just like a renewing mist or a renew or a whatever. You know what I mean? So here, let's heal up to full. All right, and then let's wait for Holy Shock to come back up. All right, so let's count. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's put a Holy Shock on herself and a Light of Dawn. And that was almost all of it back. So, like I said, we've had Holy Paladins in the groups in the past, and we would make fun of them occasionally when that would be their death, where they would die to cutting themselves, as it were. But that's your best spell. You should be using that pretty constantly. Like I said, never hard casting Holy Light basically at all, only hard casting Flash of Light on the Infusion of Light procs, using your talent spells, so your laser, your hammer, your Reach of Law, if you like that. Like I said, I'm not quite sure why you would, if Mastery is your worst stat anyways. So, and that is it. And then here, let's try to show our mana going down some. So let's watch that mana bar now. Let's spam Flash of Light, because that'll tank our mana more. So having that mana bar down there can help you make decisions of like when you need to drink your potion or whatever, or when you need to go into kind of more like recuperate mode as opposed to burn mode. So I will put these, or I already have these weak ores up in a paste bin. I will put that down in the link below in the description, and I hope this helps you out. So later, peeps.